Oh, what's up, everyone? Didn't see you there. Just admiring the World Series trophy that has belonged to myself and the red team for the past, 3 years. So this is the Wiffle Ball World Series 2019 prediction show coming at you. What's up, everybody? My name is Spencer Blair, otherwise known as your friendly Jewish kid down the street. I'm going to come at you today with a little bit of, some predictions for the upcoming Wiffle Ball World Series that's coming up in the next few days in grand anticipation. I'm sure you all are very excited. We're going to start off with some team overviews very quickly. Then we're going to go into the all-tournament team predictions. And then finally, we're going to go through some of my personal predictions for who's going to come away with the awards for this tournament. So without further ado, we'll get into it. All right, so let's start out with the team overviews. So we got 2 pools this year, similar to last year. We got 6 total teams in the tournament. Looks like we're going to have a good field of competitors. In my personal opinion, this is going to be the most talented group of individuals that we've had ever playing in a Wiffle Ball World Series. Very excited. Also very excited to take a 4th straight title. It's going to be great. Just kidding. Everybody show up. Have a great time. Please, somebody beat me this year. Make it interesting. But without further ado, we'll get into the first team. So Pool A is made up of Team Thomas, Team Dragonette, and Team Dement. Now, I would say out of the 2 pools, this is probably the quote-unquote weaker pool. However, we do have 3 formidable teams in here. We'll start off with Team Thomas, headed by the Matthew Thomas. And if you know anything about the Wiffle Ball World Series, you know this kid lives and breathes this stuff. He lives to hit home runs off of Spencer Blair, and we'll talk about it till the end of time. The guy is a born winner, even though he's never won a championship in the Wiffle Ball World Series. A born winner, though, without a doubt. Great player, good hitter from the left side. Then followed up by Slater Greenwell. If you watch the videos from last year, Slater Greenwell is a very formidable hitter at the plate. Puts the ball in play a good amount of times and definitely has some power. Took Joey Shapiro to the fucking moon, so that's one thing to watch out for. Vince Maria, another one out there. I personally think he should have won the Gold Glove last year. We'll take that up with our production crew, but definitely slick-handed fielder out there. He's a lacrosse player, so you can't expect too much at the plate. However, he hit a home run off of me on a slider 3-2 pitch back in 2013 in that backyard right behind me. Kid won't let me forget about it. Probably will bring it up 14 times at this tournament. Stay tuned. Last but not least, we got 2 more guys rounding out. We got Matthew Salvo, familiar name, played on my team for the first 2 years of the tournament and took home some hardware. Great teammate. Played well last year. We ultimately traded him. If you watched the video, you saw that as well. A lot of character, good hitter at the plate. Hopefully we'll see some contributions out of him. And lastly, Christian Cariello, newcomer to the tournament. We'll see what he can do, maybe provide some right-handed relief on the mound. So we'll see what happens. Overall, I think this team can string a few wins together. However, they do have some question marks on the mound, so we'll see who gets on the bump for them. All right, now to our second team in Pool A. So that's going to be Team Dragonette. Now, in my personal opinion, Team Dragonette may be the best overall team in the entire tournament. They really do have a good compilation of talent. Starting with the team's namesake, Team Dragonette. While the kid is super annoying and never shuts up, the kid is a winner and he's a competitor. He plays the game hard and is a good stick from the left-handed side. He has a very good tournament average off of me personally, so hopefully I have to figure out a way to, if I end up facing him, I'll have to figure that out. Kid's definitely a good hitter, though, and we'll look to see some production from him at the top of the lineup. And a lot of times he doesn't swing the bat, too, so that's another thing. Got a good eye. Second of all, the main core of this team, we got Brennan Mayer and Ryan Mayer. Now, if you know anything about the Mayer brothers, they're winners. They flat out win at everything. They're amazing at everything. Super athletic. Hopefully we'll see Brennan Mayer on the mound. He's got a good arm from the left side. We saw him for a little bit last year and threw pretty well, so maybe he'll be there #1. We'll see about that. The Mayer brothers haven't played together since the first inaugural Wiffle Ball World Series, and that went over super well, both at the plate, and Brennan hit well last year, we saw. So hopefully we'll see some production out of Ryan Mayer. But moving on, we also have Matt Henschel, another one. He's also only ever played in 1 Wiffle Ball World Series, played in the second one. Did pretty well, however, his team got knocked out early. He's kind of a wild card. We'll see what he brings to the table. Could bring some relief on the mound from the right side, but also definitely a good hitter. So we'll see if he can bring some production in the middle of that lineup. And then finally, the offensive juggernaut of this team, Nick Palmer, a guy played in the inaugural tournament and just absolutely destroyed balls, over the garage, on top of my roof. Still haven't found some of the balls. The guy can absolutely rake, so he'll probably be anchoring that lineup. like I said, I think this team, if everything goes to plan, they could be rivaling the championship, and they may just walk away with the title. So big expectations for them. We'll see if they can show out. And the third and final team rounding out Pool A is going to be Team Dement. Now, the team's namesake, the team's captain, Matt Dement, said he was coming for the title of longest hair this year. Yeah, he got a haircut. Not going to happen. However, we saw his inaugural performance last year for the first time. Provided some power and speed for Team Gibbons last year. Team Gibbons, historically the worst team to ever play in the Wiffle Ball World Series. However, Matt Dement was a shining star there. So hopefully he can kind of bring a group of players together that can kind of get some stuff done and progress throughout this tournament. Rounding out the rest of the roster, we have Phil LaMedico, Andy Rosso, Seth Nightingale, who's a question mark. We don't know his availability. Maybe he'll be there, maybe not. Either way, probably won't provide too much of an impact. And lastly, Brandon Amaya. Overall, I think they have a pretty solid roster. You look at it top to bottom. Andy Rosso, good from the left side of the plate. Hasn't swung a bat in 2 years, reports have said. However, you got to kind of count on Ross for being a good stick from the left side. And then Phil LaMedico. Phil hasn't, another one who hasn't played since the inaugural tournament. However, when he did, teamed up with Brendan Webster and Vince Maria. They almost made it to the championship, came in third in that tournament, came up just short. Quality player, if I can remember correctly, threw pretty well off the mound and also is a good stick from the right side. So they have a pretty good lineup top to bottom. Brandon Amaya, Seth Nightingale making their debuts. Again, if Seth shows up. They could be good producers here and there. However, I think Matt Dement, Andy Rosso, Phil LaMedico, the core of this team, I think they can do some good things with the bat. They just have to, they're another kind of, pitching is very important in this tournament, so we'll see who's kind of going to be on the bump for them and try to get those well-earned outs for them. So overall, looking at Pool A, if I had to make predictions, and these are totally unbiased opinions, I would say Team Dragonette's going to walk away with this pool. They're going to come in first. I think Team Dement's going to actually shock some people and swing the bats well, and I think they're going to come in second and progress through. And I think Team Thomas is unfortunately gonna be eliminated. Pretty awkward. Sorry, Matt. See ya in the losers bracket. Oh, just kidding. There isn't one. Peace. Alright, so we went through Pool A, now we're going to go through Pool B, made up of 3 very good teams. I think this is the better of the 2 pools, and I think it'll be very close who comes out with the first and second seed and moves on to the playoff round. Ultimately, we're going to start off with Team Webster, the first of the 3 teams in this Pool B. Team Webster is going to be made up of Brendan Webster, Anthony Rowe, Michael Poling, and then Zach Rowe, who's making his debut. Breaking down this team, there's been a little bit of controversy on who's the real leader of this team, whether it's Team Rowe, whether it's Team Webster. We'll see if that internal turmoil affects their play on the field. However, they do have a solid group of guys. There is some talent there. I will go out on a limb and say Brendan Webster is one of the more talented pitchers in this entire tournament. He has been since this tournament has been a thing. He's good from that kind of 3/4 angle, definitely nasty, and if he throws strikes, that's really the key there. Last year, he got a little sidetracked because he wasn't able to throw all the strikes that he needed. However, when he's on his game, he's very hard to hit and can provide some really valuable innings. I'm going to call him out, though. Webby, you're a good hitter in real baseball. You didn't get a hit last year. If your team's going to want to progress, you got to hit the ball. You have to hit the ball. No more of this lefty switch hitter. Get on the right side, hit the balls over the fence. Let's get it going, all right? I expect more out of you. Come on, let's go. Get a fire under your butt. Second, we got the brothers Rowe, Anthony Rowe and Zach Rowe. Anthony Rowe has been a veteran in this tournament. He's been around a while, has never won any championships, but has been in the mix a few times. Anthony's a solid player, good hitter from the right side, and also he can get on the mound and provide some good innings. Not the best pitcher in the world, but the kid can throw a little bit. Not Arabian, just in case you were wondering, even though he looks like he was probably born in Iraq. Not racially insensitive at all, but yeah, the kid's Italian, so don't ask if you meet him, but definitely a core player there. And then Zach Rowe, Zach could be the cornerstone for this team. You really don't know, what he's going to bring because he's never been in this tournament. However, he does have pedigree. We can, in fact, confirm that he's taking this seriously because he saw one Marty Blair at Calvert Hall graduation about a week and a half ago and told Marty Blair that he would see him on this day and that he's ready to go. So this kid's committed. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to provide a spark for Team Webster. And finally, Michael Poling. Now, Michael's kind of a conundrum. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off, depending on his motivation level. If this team can kind of get him in and get him bought into their culture and their winning culture and really get him to contribute to this team. I think he'll bring the bat from the left side. Historically, the kid can hit in real baseball, but he's another one of those that just doesn't translate to the wiffle ball field. Makes sense when you take it from 300 to 60 feet, it just goes out the window. But we'll see what happens. Fast, athletic. This team, I definitely think if they play to their potential, they can go far. Moving on to the second team, Team Bice, headed by the JB Bice himself. JB, one of the founding members of this tournament, has been playing on this field for as long as I can remember. The kid lives and breathes wiffle ball. He's finally captaining his own team. JB Bice surrounds himself with a team this year. Chris Glover, followed up by Justin Kerr, Mike Wall, who's making his inaugural debut, and then Perry Sill. So we'll start off with JB. JB, obviously, good hitter at the plate, has an amazing average lifetime off of me. Kid, can't get the kid out. Hit a nuke off of me last year that embarrassed my entire family. Didn't talk to me for a week, so thank you for that, JB. Also good off the mound. If he can keep his stuff low in the zone, usually he's pretty good. If he gets it up, he usually gets hit, but we'll see what happens. Chris Glover, huge get for Team Bice. This kid, when he's on the mound, I think he's the best pitcher in the entire tournament. The kid has stuff like you've never seen before. He's got that nasty slider and also a screwball to complement it. If that's on, he's untouchable. You saw that last year against Team Webster. He completely shut them down and almost shut my team, myself and Carter's team, down in the first game of the championship last year. The kid is just electric on the mound. If he can get the bat going, he can really provide the spark that they need. And then Justin Kerr, an absolute consistent hitter at the plate, always comes up with big hits, and really lengthens this lineup. I think he'll definitely be a good addition. Two guys, Chris Glover and Justin Kerr, coming over from Team Dragonette. As we know, John Issing won't be in this tournament this year. Kid's a great pitcher, but they're kind of taking some players from that team and moving it over to Team Bice. I think it'll be a great partnership. Mike Wall making his rookie debut. We don't know what he's going to bring. Hopefully he'll bring kind of some spark, either offensively or on the mound. We'll see what he can do. And then Perry Sill played in the second tournament for Team Shapiro. Was pretty good at the plate, contributed a little bit, so he'll be a nice piece for them to kind of round out the chemistry. Definitely some remarks out there. We've heard that they're coming for Team Blair this year. My team personally. Definitely will be a good rivalry, definitely will be a good game, but I think you always got to back the boys. We'll come out on top. And speaking of that rivalry, that's a perfect segue into talking about Team Blair, my own personal team that I captain. Three-time Wiffle Ball World Series champion. No one else has ever held the trophy besides my team, the red team. Always solid. I'm not going to spend too much time on us, but just to give you a rundown, so obviously captained by myself. Rounded out with the rest of the boys, Carter Martin, my right-hand man, who's also been with me in every single championship that we've won. Probably the most iconic wiffle ball duo to ever go down in Wiffle Ball World Series history. You can just chalk that up right there. Carter's always going to provide a good stick, clutch hitting, and also maybe some left-handed relief off the mound. Then we got the two boys that really put us on 100 chemistry over here, Joey Shapiro and Brian Mitchell. Obviously, Joey, he's going to bring some power on the right side, hopefully lengthen our lineup a little bit. And hopefully maybe if we get in a pinch, he can bring some relief off the mound. We've seen him captain teams in every Wiffle Ball World Series, so this is the first time that he's playing with us. We saw him in last year's tournament get traded to us midway through, so we'll definitely see he can provide some added value to our team and definitely strengthen our lineup. Finally, we got Brian Mitchell. B-Mitch, can't say enough about this guy. Huge heart, huge character, hit a home run last year. He told me personally, you can put this down, when the tournament happens, you'll see. This kid is going to go off at the plate. He told me he's been working since last tournament. Every day he's been in the cage, he's been getting personal hitting lessons from Marty Blair. The kid is going to be on it. He's gonna break out in a big way, and I think he'll definitely lengthen our lineup in the back end there. We'll see if we can add one more, maybe Spencer Peltz, maybe Franklin Parks. We'll see. That's yet to be determined, but overall we got a good squad. You always got to bet on the boys. Overall, looking at this Pool B, like I said, I think it's the more talented and the closer to predict of the two pools. We got three really good teams. Overall, I'm going to back the boys. I'm going to back my team. You have to, just being biased. Overall, we got Team Webster and Team Bice. In my opinion, both teams are great. Both respect for all the guys that are a part of those teams, but I'm going to say Team Webster advances out of the 2 seed, and unfortunately Team Bice may not advance. We'll see how it shakes out, though. This bracket could go either way. There could be many different surprises, so we'll see what happens. So let's get into the awards. Now, very quickly, getting into the predictions of the awards very quickly. So as we saw last year in the video, Carter Martin, our wonderful producer, ultimately kind of came up with this idea to do awards for the tournament. I think it was a really good idea, so we're going to continue with that this year. We have a bevy of awards to go through, so I'm just going to give kind of my 2 cents of who's going to get these awards. Now, this could really shake out any different way. It's really kind of up to how everybody performs, but these are just going into it on paper. This is how I think it could shake out. So, first, starting off with the Unsung Hero Award. This is someone that really, doesn't get a lot of attention, isn't necessarily the headline player of each team or isn't a captain, but definitely contributes to a winning cause. And in my pick, it's going to be Joey Shapiro. I think he's going to provide a lot of value to our team and be a catalyst, but not somebody necessarily that people are going to, he's not going to bring in the headlines, but I think he'll definitely be valuable for us, and I think he's the perfect candidate for the Unsung Hero, so that's my pick. The breakout player of the tournament, somebody who's new to the tournament and shows up and really balls out, I think that's going to be Zach Rowe. I think he's taking this seriously, and I think he's going to lead Team Webster pretty far, both at the plate and on the mound. Maybe. We'll see. Most improved player, I called this guy out earlier, Brendan Webster. I think he's going to come out and make a statement. Wasn't a good showing at the plate last year. I think historically he's been a good hitter, especially from the left side, so hopefully he comes in and really balls out and hits the ball well, and obviously he'll be there on the mound. He's always going to be a great pitcher and consistent there. Moving on to the most important award in the entire tournament, the Marty Blair Award, the heralded Marty Blair Award. Last year we saw this go to Mr. Matt Thomas, Mr. Wiffle Ball World Series. This is basically a next question award. This is going to go to him whether or not he shows up. Just kidding, maybe Tim Dragonette. Tim's got a mouth on him too. I mean, basically this is the player with the biggest mouth, whoever can make Spencer Blair the most annoyed. However, I think Matt Thomas is going to bring this one home. Kid just exemplifies what it means to play wiffle ball. Kid's an absolute champion. Matt, if you're watching this, hats off to you. Great guy. Complete class act. Silver Slugger, moving on. So I'm talking about the hitting prowess before. I think Nick Palmer's going to take this home. If he doesn't show up, I think he's going to be there. But if not, I'm going to give this one to Phil Lemetico. I think both of them have good sticks. I think Nick Palmer absolutely destroys the ball. I've never faced him. Looking forward to doing that. But Phil Lemetico also super solid at the plate, so I think he could easily take it home as well. But like I said, a lot of people can take this one home. Last year we saw Brennan Mayer do it. Moving on to the really important ones, then we got the Gold Glove Award. Last year, J.B. Bice took this home with that amazing play that he made. In my opinion, I think it should have went to Vince Maria, and I think that's who it's going to go to this year. Vince is consistently good on defense, very athletic guy, made an amazing catch that unfortunately, this is Carter's fault, we didn't get on camera last year. Sorry, Carter. I think he's always consistent, and if there's a lot of criticism about Vince's play, whether he's good or not. However, I think I value his defensive metrics much more than other people do, so I think he's taking home the Gold Glove. Finally, Cy Young and MVP awards. So Cy Young given to the best pitcher, obviously. Cy Young, I think, is going to go to Chris Glover. Now, this award really depends on how much Chris pitches for Team Bice, because JB is a formidable pitcher as well. However, like I said before, when Chris Glover's on the mound, the kid can flat out shove. So I think he'll probably take it home, especially with that slider and that screwball, like I said before, just absolutely devastating. And then last but not least, MVP. Not going to give it to myself. Not going to do that. Not going to be that guy. I know you all are probably saying stuff to the screen right now, but the MVP, I think, is ultimately going to go to Brendan Mayer. I think the kid has had a good showing, every tournament that he's been in. And last year he kind of broke out at the plate. There were some question marks there. If he gets on the mound and throws well too, I think he could take it home, and I think his team may rival my team for the championship. So that's how my predictions break down. We'll get to Carter a little bit later and see how that goes. And then finally, we'll do the all-tournament team. This is a new thing that we're doing this year. It'll be basically a team of the 5 best players of the tournament, and we're gonna include it in the video, and it'll be voted on by everybody. So it's gonna be made up of 3 position players and then 2 guys that primarily pitch. So this is just my kind of take. So I think the 3 position players, it's going to be made up of Zach Rowe, who I think, like I said, is going to have a good showing. Nick Palmer, if he shows up. Phil Lemetico. The 2 pitchers would be myself. Just going to back myself there, and then Chris Glover. If Palmer doesn't show up, I would definitely back maybe Brendan Webster for this team. There could go a lot of different ways. Carter Martin, you could see there's a lot of good players in this. Andy Rosso, we haven't really talked about him much. He could be a dark horse for some of these awards. Matt Dement, you don't really know. There's a lot of good players in this tournament, so I can't wait to see how it shakes out. If you've watched this far, thank you. If you haven't, fuck you. All right, now we're going to welcome in our studio guest, Carter Martin, member of the Red Team, 3-time Wiffle Ball World Series champ, a member of Team Blair. Carter, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. It's a great day to be alive. Hoping for good weather on Sunday when we get this going.
Right, I was taking a look at the forecast. Little bleak right now.
Yeah, hopefully it turns out for us, but we'll see. We'll see what God has in store. I think the wiffle ball gods will want us to play. So we'll
I certainly hope they will too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you saw some of my predictions here about how the pools are going to play. You don't have to go too in depth, but just give me an idea of what you're thinking about. The takes we got going on here.
Well, first things first, I got to rag on you a little bit for calling out my shoddy camera skills from last year, not getting Vince Maria's catch over down the first base line. What's that all about?
Yeah, sorry about that, Carter. It was a great catch, great shot. I wish we would have gotten it, but we all know how great of a job you do, so no hard feelings there.
I appreciate that. Maybe we'll do better this year.
Yeah, I mean, considering you're editing this right now, we'll have a video, so.
You're right. Yeah, so I was looking at your predictions. I have a little bit of a shuffled prediction myself. Looking at this Pool A right here, you have Team Dragonette, Team Dement, Team Thomas in that order.
I do.
I'm going to flip it on its head a little bit. I think Team Thomas is going to come out first. They got a lot of competitors on that side. Matt Thomas, Slater Greenwell obviously showed out last year. A bit of surprise last year, but I think they're not going to be a surprise this year. I think they're going to come out first in Pool A. After that, I have Team Dragonette. That roster is absolutely loaded with talent. You're right. The Mayer brothers, like you said, really excel in everything they do, and I think they're going to continue that with this tournament. And then coming out in third, I have Team Dement. And really with Team Dement, it's sort of a wild card. You never know what you're going to get. Not a big track record of winning baseball, winning wiffle ball on that side. So I think otherwise they might be in the top two and advance out. I just think given this draw, it's going to be a little bit tough for them to come out.
Wow, yeah.
What do you think?
Hot take alert right there, folks. Team Thomas leading that group, coming out as the first seed. That is what we love to see out of Carter Martin there. Yeah, I think those are good opinions. I mean, I think this could go either way. At the end of the day, I think Team Thomas, if they get contributions on the mound, and I think they have a good enough lineup, and they have heart too. I mean, a lot of guys on that team ended up beating our team, Team Blair, last year. They didn't end up winning the series, but they won that one game with the help of JB Bice. No longer on the team, but like I said, Matt Thomas is a winner. Slater Greenwell good with the stick. Vince is solid on defense, so they can get some contributions on the mound. And we don't know what Christian Cariello is going to be. Christian Cariello could come out here and be the best player in the tournament. We really don't know, so that is definitely a hot take. You never count Matt Thomas out. The kid is an absolute winner. Team Dragonette, I think, is absolutely making it through at some point. I mean, their team loaded with talent. If they just play to their potential, I think they'll be great. And yeah, I think that's a good take on Team Dement. I mean, they are kind of a mixed bag. They're a bunch of guys that haven't really played together much, but I think at the end of the day, the reason I chose them is because they do have good sticks at the plate, and I think if they do play to their potential and they just get some pitching, I think they can advance through. But good takes out of you. So what do you think about our pool, Pool B?
Yeah, so Pool B, like you said, I think they are the better of the two pools talent-wise. That's not to say Pool A is filled with a bunch of scrubs.
Yep.
But I do think Pool B is of higher status, if you will. Your prediction, Blair, Webster, and Bice in that order. I'm going to shuffle that one as well, too. I'm going to put Bice up top. A bit of a shock. I think they might steal one from us or Team Webster in pool play. I think... Obviously, JB is a competitor. He's a fierce guy out there. He'll give it your all no matter what game you're playing.
Absolutely.
I could see him coming out on top in his team with Glover, Kerr, Mike Wall, and Perry Sill. I really think that they could give Team Blair a run for their money. Speaking of Team Blair, I have them second in that pool. Yourself on this team, along with Joey Shapiro, and Brian Mitchell. Spencer Blair on the mound is always going to be a challenge. And whether or not they're going to get a hit off of him in their first time or their fifth time, it's a question, but you're not going to get too many hits off of him. It's a really matter of how many chances you get off of Spencer to hit.
Yeah.
And I think as he sort of wears down, as he gets a little tired out there, it's going to become a lot easier for teams to start to hit off of him.
Yeah.
But I think he might get hit a little bit earlier this year. This is obviously the fourth time we're doing this. Teams have seen him before. And it's a matter of will they be able to get up there early and start getting their hacks off of him.
Yeah.
So, I could honestly see Team Blair coming out on top in the first seed in Pool B in pool play. But I think it's more likely that they finish in second. And then third, I have Team Webster. I just don't think you have the track record there. Obviously a bunch of talented guys on that squad. But I can't really see them finishing above third in this bracket.
Yeah. Carter Humble Martin with a modest take there, putting us second. I like that, though, because it takes the pressure off of us. I think that's great analysis there, though. Like I said before, if I wasn't backing ourselves and I wasn't biased, obviously, I think this pool could go any different way. I mean, you got 3 juggernauts going there, and the team that doesn't make it out, it's going to be unfortunate because I think all 3 of these teams, if they play to their potential, could challenge for the championship. I think Team Bice coming out on top is absolutely possible. Like I said, JB Bice, all it takes is one swing. The guy has an amazing average off of me. He can really hit the ball, so all it takes is just one fastball down the middle like we saw when his team played our team last year, and he sent it to the moon and embarrassed me in front of my family.
That's right.
I think that's all it takes. I mean, they have good pitching. Chris Glover, if he's on the mound and he's shutting us down, that is absolutely a possibility. I could see them stealing one from us. Hopefully that doesn't happen for our sake. However, they are a formidable team, especially if Mike Wall makes his debut and balls out. Talking about our team, you always got to back us. We got the pedigree, but like I said too, I don't know if I have my stuff this year. I say that every year, but this year it might be true. I don't know if I have the velocity, so hopefully for our sake that kind of comes back, and hopefully I can be on my game. But yeah, it could really go either way. And then Team Webster, if Webby doesn't hit, and if Rowe, Anthony Rowe and the Rowe brothers don't really get it going, and Poling continues to not be able to hit, they're going to have a rough go at it. I mean, pitching is the name of the game here, and keeping the walks down is the name of the game. But if you can't hit, you can't score runs, and you mathematically, I mean, I'm not a math major. This one's probably for Tim Dragonette, who's probably got a 4.0. But you can't win if you don't score. So they're really going to need to bring the bats. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we really could surprise us. I mean, Zach Rowe, could really, feel comfortable against me in the box. You never really know what could happen. So I think that's good analysis right there. Any comments on the awards or all tournament team, Carter?
I would just watch out. I think you got a 4.0 as well.
I did get a 4.0.
Before you step on Tim there, I think
Joyce Blair was very proud of me there.
I haven't really looked at the awards too much, but I think it's very humble of you to keep yourself out. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, the awards committee is going to vote you in for something, whether that be Cy Young, whether that be MVP. I know you took home the MVP last year for your contributions to your namesake team.
I did. Matt Thomas, you hear that? Yep, just making sure.
Crickets.
Just making sure.
Don't have too many comments otherwise on the awards. Obviously, a lot of talent this year, more than probably we've ever had. I'm sure you'd agree.
I agree.
Obviously, the all-tournament team is something new we're doing this year. It'll be interesting to see who the awards committee awards those positions to. But other than that, that's all I got, Spencer. Appreciate you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely, Carter. Can't wait to see you. And to everybody else, I hope you all show out and have a great time. It's going to be an awesome time. Hopefully the weather holds off for us. Hopefully the wiffle ball gods will show their hand and help us get this in. But I think it's going to be a great time. Like I said, I think we have the most talent we've ever had in this tournament. We got some really good teams going out, good pitching, good hitting. All the like, we'll have a sick video that comes out after, hopefully. So it's going to be a great time. A few days right in that backyard right behind me. Fuck that tree, as everybody knows. And yeah, last but not least, thanks in advance for coming. It's going to be a great time. Yeah, Red Team's coming for you.